Internet, welcome back after what has been an extremely long time. This is weird, like actually making a video. I haven't done this in so long. Remember that I said I would do it this week in a certain schedule. I said that I would have a certain schedule, and then I didn't do it. And then I did the same thing before that, and I think one time before that. So really, don't hold me to anything I say, because I'm always lying about what I say. I never say the right thing. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about in this video, because everyone knows I'm a liar. By the way, in future, if I ever say I'm going to do something, don't hold me to it, whether it's about videos or anything else. So anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about was this thing that happened yesterday. So I was in Forensics Club, which for those of you who don't know is a speaking club. I don't know how it works at other schools. It might be called something else. And I don't know why it's called forensics, but in my school we call it Forensics Club. And it's basically like where you do debate and you do a lot of other things. But the thing that I was doing was not debate, it was this other event called impromptu speech. And basically in impromptu speech, you get a word and a phrase, and you get to choose between one of those, and then you have 60 seconds to come up with a 3 to 5 minute speech. It's very pressuring, and it's also worse when you get words or phrases that you don't know and you have to come up with something based on that. So yesterday we were doing a few practice sessions, and the person who was like writing down the stuff, we were just doing like some fun stuff. So she wrote down like 3 or 4 words that she thought were fun, and I didn't know any of them. I know all of them now. I just didn't know them when she gave them to me. The 3 words were guppy, canoodle, and blowhole. Which, by the way, I've learned is not as inappropriate as it sounds. And then I said, oh, I don't know any of these words. So then she was like, wait, are you serious? Pause the timer. You really don't know any of these words? So then she took down those words, and she gave me a harder word, and then a quote from Hamlet, which I knew, but I didn't know what it meant. So basically what I wanted to talk about is these expectations that you have of other people. There was this thing that Hank Green mentioned a while ago on one of his videos, like 2-3 years ago. He basically talked about how there was this thing where on Twitter there were 12 or 2 teenagers, that I know it's a big range, but there were 12 or 2 teenagers that didn't know what the Titanic was. They just thought it was a movie, right? And he talked about this expectations thing and everything, and I realized that he's right. People have unrealistic expectations for me. I know a lot of history. I get a lot of science. I don't get the stuff in school. I'm not good on tests, but I understand science, at least at a basic level. I know a lot of contemporary young adult novels, but what I don't know is words and historical literature and all of that stuff. You can't expect people to know everything that you know. You're not going to know everything that people expect you to know. I don't know any of the songs that are like important today. The only songs I know that are important today, or like popular today, I should say, pop culture, are the songs that were popular like before the summer. That's when I last checked in with pop culture. I don't know any of the songs. I don't know any of the famous movies. I know some of them because I still love Marvel, and through that I learn about some other movies because they appear in the recommended for you and on YouTube when I'm looking at those movies' trailers. And also I know a few TV shows because my friends keep talking about them, and the only thing of pop culture though that I'm actually enlightened about is YouTube. So please, my point here is don't expect things from people because people don't know everything. Especially people like me. We're all idiots. And I mean that in the most loving and caring way possible. We're all idiots to some degree. None of us are ever going to know anything. In fact, most of us are going to only know a very, very tiny percent of a tiny fraction of a tiny percent of a small bit of the tiny bit of stuff that humans collectively know about. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, which will, by the way, not be on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday necessarily. It'll be when I decide to make a video. Bye-bye.